We've been taught to glorify being busy. Hustle culture says, if you're not constantly pushing, maybe you're just not serious enough. But here's the catch. It makes rest feel guilty. Like we need to rest more productively. In this video, I want to unpack the hard truth about hustle culture. Hi, my name is Bianca. I mentor small business owners and I'm specialized in productivity and time management. If that's something you like, you should subscribe and stick around. Burnout is real, even for business owners. Burnout doesn't just happen in 9-to-5 jobs. I've seen accounts of it in entrepreneurs too. It creeps in quietly. We desensitize from the body and what it's asking for. We skip daylight, movement, water, proper meals. As a result, our body stops after a prolonged, unmanaged stress. That's what burnout is. Why it's making us sick, the way society is constructed. Capitalism. Capitalism thrives on speed and output. We're racing AI, other competitors charging less, the immediacy of DMs, answering client messages past work hours for fear of losing them. We just live more reactively rather than proactively. It's all become do, no presence or pleasure. We weren't designed for this pace. That's why it's making us sick. Subtle mind traps or bias toward what's wrong. Our brain has a negative bias. Especially under stress, our brain obsesses on whatever is wrong, bad, or threatening. We can calculate losses faster than we can calculate wins. We downplay our wins and obsess over what's lacking. You know when nothing is never good enough? We're overcritical of ourselves and our inner critic has a megaphone. One important thing I learned from my therapist is that we should always respond to our nervous system. Every time you hear something like, man, nothing worked this week, challenge it by saying, well, what were the things that did work out this week? And the response is surely coming. I also learned this other one with my mentor, Stella Grisant. When self-criticism hits, shift it with a question. What is true and positive in this very second? And train yourself to always challenge the inner critic. The shift in the mood is instantaneous. You know, some days I didn't have the progress I anticipated or expected on a certain project. But then I remember the tiny things that did work out and did make progress, but they weren't in the foreground, so that's why I gave too much focus on the things that didn't. So when I ask these questions, I invite these tiny wins to surface and be seen and given credit because yes, they took effort as well. The tiny things like, oh, today I prepared a meal, so I'm all set for the next couple of days. I followed up on all these topics I was waiting on. I finally organized a coffee with a dear friend of mine. Things like that. This is a lovely practice for you to have under your sleeve. You're not a robot, so stop expecting yourself to be. You know that I'm not a robot checkbox we do every so often and we get so insulted about and it's so funny? You gotta live up to it. You gotta embody that answer. Walk the talk, you know what I mean? Because we go on checking that box, but then we expect things of ourselves that are very robotic, very mechanical, such as expecting yourself to perform perfectly day after day, 100% consistency. That doesn't exist. For women, this type of expectation is especially hard because we are hardwired to be cyclic. You're a human, you have intuition, gut feeling. Try asking yourself once in a while, what is the best next thing I could do right now? Let your gut answer sometimes, not just your to-do list. Creativity, a very human trait. Taking pauses for decompression, entertainment, trying new things. All these things add repertoire and increases the connections between thoughts. Entering something called diffuse mode helps with creative thinking. We only go into diffuse mode when we do mindless things like showering, driving, jogging. You know, those times we're hit with a random great idea. Creation needs space. Have you ever let an idea sit overnight and gained clarity over it? That's the power of pause. Like seeds, some ideas need to grow underground before they show results. Don't dig them up too soon. Productivity hacks versus baseline behavior. Sure, biohacks like hold your pee to stay alert exist. Go all in researching those things. They're fabulous, they're incredible, and it makes you want to try every single one of them. But that's a short-term trick, not a long-term strategy. They should be the exception, not your operating system. Like meds, they help us in specific scenarios. but we shouldn't feel dependent on them. You know what I mean? It's not sustainable to push your body or to have that mental pressure on things you should be doing. Words matter. What are you telling your brain? If you repeat things like, that's just the way it is, you gotta hustle, your brain will filter the world to prove it. Your mind is a pattern recognition machine. It'll match the script you hand it. Instead, prime your mind with thoughts like, today is an opportunity to make a difference in the world and be well compensated for it. Also, before you close up shop for the day, I encourage you to do this little reflection to improve your quality of life. Take a moment to appreciate all the little decisions you made in the past 24 hours that support your goals. Take this moment to recognize the effort. All right? We've been taught that success comes from constant action. But the truth is, sustainable success comes from aligned action. Working smarter doesn't mean working less. It means doing what matters most with clarity. Since we're at it, check this video to understand the basics of to-do organization. If you're juggling one too many projects, trying to keep it all in your head, or feeling like your energy is scattered, let's talk. I offer one-on-one mentoring sessions to help self-employed professionals build better systems, routines, and boundaries so you can better enjoy the business you've built. Thank you so much, and I'll see you around. Challenging. Working smarter. We calculate. Tava com o ar ligado, e agora? Deixa assim? Estou solta na barra.